I think BNB for me was one of the few places, if not the best place, to help build something of consequence. The reach, the distribution power, which we can get into a little bit later, is unparalleled. If I'm gonna, if it is basically the best playground to kind of have that global impact. And then second is people. The community of users, of community contributors, developers that I met really drew me.
Welcome to the DevNTell podcast, where founders, hackers, and anyone in between showcase their products built on the bleeding edge of tech. GM, welcome to the show, Marwan and JZ.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. JZ, welcome back to the show. You were on, I believe, about a year's time ago, and I know BNB has gone through a lot of positive growth since then, so really excited to see all the latest and greatest. And Marwan, welcome to the show. I think you're a first-timer. Happy to have you both.
Thank you. Glad to be on the show for the first time. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
for
hello,
sure.
hello. Thank you for having me again.
My pleasure. I guess before we get into all the great content around BNB, would you guys like to take some time just to introduce yourselves for the crowd?
Sure. Maybe start from me. I'm JZ, and from the BNB tech team. I'm here actually is to collect the voices from the core developers and researchers and ecosystem builders behind the BNB Chain ecosystem. So our team actually is the tech team and a very engineering focused and a globally distributed group of engineers, product managers, and also community advocates who are very passionate and about building the scalable and accessible decentralized infrastructure, especially for the next billion users for mass adoption. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. And quick intro to myself. I'm Marwan. I head up our DeFi ecosystem and our EMEA efforts, so Europe, Middle East, and Africa efforts for BNB. So primarily working with developers in helping incubate, accelerate, and invest in new protocols in the space that can, to what JZ was saying, really help build powerful, scalable, and ultimately beautiful products that everyday users can enjoy on that mission to onboard not just the next, but the very first real billion users on chain.
Amazing. And I'm sure both of you have a pretty good background in the Web3 space and tech space in general. Just curious how both of you kind of started in Web3 and found yourselves at BNB.
JZ, you want to go first?
Yeah, why not? Myself, actually, I'm from the traditional tech background. I have been, in the tech world for more than 15 years, and I started from being a software engineering. I mean, basically the system engineering for the servers and the clouds, and then I go to the financial engineering and cloud. Also, some of the the SaaS background for the financial services. So the initial draw to the Web3 is just a pure curiosity, because the blockchain to me at that time is very new and bring me to the idea of how the Web3 was a natural evolution of the principle of the fully ownership and decentralized. So while Web2 connected to the world, but also lead to the centralization of data and power. So which means that part actually I really dislike. So it brought me to the Web3 to build the fundamental paradigm shift, that return the ownership to the users and the permissionless innovations and the creation of more transparent, open sourced, more equitable internet. So that's the reason why I jumping to the Web3.
Yeah, and quite similar to JZ. It really was curiosity for me. For me, it was in a different lifetime, more as a student. I was studying economics and philosophy, and I was very much drawn to how to create more transparent, more equitable economic structures just from a pure economic standpoint. And so a lot of my first interactions with crypto in general or Web3 were more from an academic perspective, kind of just doing research, thinking about this new paradigm shift. And then over the years, I was kind of in corporate venture capital, and was slowly personally involved in Web3, but only made the professional leap a few years ago. Initially, I was supporting a VC fund out of New York, kind of on crypto research, and then made the leap to the world of BNB. It was, and still is, I think, one of the most important entry points for people to access the on-chain economy, and have been very passionate about lowering the barriers and building more powerful, ultimately applications for new users.
Amazing. Yeah, it seems like both of you have quite the tenured experience in both of your backgrounds, and I mean, it sounds like you could have chosen any protocol or chain to join. Is there a particular reason or something that really stood out that made both of you want to pick BNB Chain as your landing spot?
For me, I think the BNB Chain ecosystem, the core value of the BNB Chain ecosystem is mass adoption. I think for other chains, people are talking about the product, talking about technology, talking about the marketing, the stuff. I think the BNB chain has the very solid ground. We basically can think of the BNB chain is the probably the first playground for me if I want to build a new DApps, especially for the mass user base and very high performance chain. So if you start from other chains, if you want to bootstrap your applications to have a cold start, it will be much difficult compared with the BNB chain. So that's the reason why I select the BNB chain as the first stop when I join in the Web3 world. I think even today, I think it is a very good choice and the correct choice for me.
For me, it was product and people, right? Product, because similar to JZ, I think BNB for me was one of the few places, if not the best place, to help build something of consequence. The reach, the distribution power, which we can get into a little bit later, is unparalleled. And if I'm gonna, if it is basically the best playground to kind of have that global impact. And then second is people. The community of users, of community contributors, developers that I met really drew me. I think ultimately, the product always matters, but so do the people. And the people also drew me to this ecosystem. So that's how I jumped into it, and as passionate about it as I was on day one.
Amazing. Yeah, it sounds like both of you made the right choice. So right on for that. So let's get into it. Let's get into all things BNB chain. So I mean, there's BNB has quite the platform offering for developers to get up and running and building their next app, from the chain to bridges to wallets to even decentralized storage. There's a heap of different options. But recently, you guys have gone through an upgrade, going through the Maxwell Hardfork. Did you guys want to touch on that and what this means for the chain and developers?
Yeah. So you mentioned that Maxwell Hardfork. It is the latest upgrade of the BSC. I mean the BNB Smart Chain. I think it is milestone because the Maxwell actually reduced the BSC's block time in half, reducing from 1.5 seconds down to just to the sub-second level to 750 milliseconds. So this leap in the performance actually improved the user experience a lot because the users will feel nearly instantaneous for transactions, and improve the, especially for the time-sensitive applications like the DeFi or on-chain gaming like a GameFi, right? So people do not have to wait for 1.5. Yeah, 1.5 is good enough, but we want to, push to the boundary to reduce the sub-second level. A couple of the benefits besides the user experiences will be bring by this upgrade. One is the shorter block time, which means it will decrease the exposure of your DeFi activities to reduce the MEV attacks, such as the sandwich attack or any other malicious activities on chain. And we also offer the chance that the developers can bring more innovative applications that requires much quicker transaction confirmation, because the BSC has the faster finality. Although the faster finality is not new concept, it was introduced around 1 year ago. But because of the faster finality, thanks to it, the confirmation time will be reduced into just 2 blocks within almost 2 seconds, which is amazing. So if you make a deposit to a centralized exchanges like a Binance, right? Originally, you have to wait for a couple of seconds. Now you just wait for less than 2 seconds to get it confirmed. So I think it will be a big change. Maxwell actually is powered by a lot of the key technical proposals. We call it the BEPs within the BNB chain ecosystem. Of course, the BEP 524 is reduce the block time. And also we introduced some of the validator communication enhancements to support faster block times. This improved the peer-to-peer messaging system between the network validators. It allows the quicker block proposals to be accepted to reduce the risk of errors or ensuring the network remains stable and reliable under the higher speed. Another thing is that the faster block syncs. So this proposal introduced the more efficient ways to nodes on the network to request and receive the block data. So this kind of optimization is, block time is a very simple concept, but if we want to reach that goal to reduce the block time to sub-second, a lot of the engineering work and efforts need to be introduced to the network to keep the high speed and also secure the network and make it more reliable. Yeah, I think it's a good milestone for users as well.
Yeah, certainly sounds like it. And how recent is it? Did you guys launch it like maybe in July, or it's been out for a couple months now?
It's in June. So
in June.
Been,
okay.
Yeah, it has been in 1 month. Yeah,
right on.
So if you try the transactions on BNB Chain, you will feel it. It's quite different.
Congratulations. It sounds like quite the milestone, the way you described it.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I guess to keep riding that wave, is there any other like highlights that you would want to touch on for any developers watching today who might be trying to decide on their home chain for their next product? Like, why should they choose BNB Chain? I guess Marwan.
Yeah, it's a good point. JZ, do you want to give maybe the why from the technical standpoint, and I can speak a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So actually, if you read our blogs, our recent announcement, in the next 6 months, we are pushing the boundaries even further. So that means we will increase the throughput of the BSC, the BNB chain, by introducing the Rust-based client on the BNB chain. We are working with the Rust team closely to deliver it on time and to make sure a new client will be introduced. A new client not only means the faster transaction time, but also means the variety or decentralization of the client as well. So it will make the BNB chain more secure. So you will see it, and the more details will be announced very soon about the Rust-based client very soon. We are doing some intensive engineering work at the time. I know some engineers even work over the weekend to build the foundation at this moment. Besides the technology improvement of the BSC, we will also BNB Chain as a very good developer platform if you want to build the DApps is because we are also one BNB strategy or one BNB paradigm, which means the BSC as a as the hub for high value DeFi or NFTs. We also have the scalability solutions like OPBNB layer 2, which ideal for high transactions applications like the games or derivatives or social media platforms, etc. And one key, besides the two BSC and OPBNB, one key differentiator of the BNB chain is that we also have the decentralized storage solution, which called the BNB Greenfield, which perfect for hosting the DApps for like to tokenize the data, especially the BNB chain. We want to push the AI to adopted by the Web3 AI concept or innovations on the blockchain. So the BNB Greenfield is very good suited for that because it can tokenize the data and to manage the ownership and programmability through the BSC and OPBNB. So it will be a very good foundation for the AI applications. I mean, decentralized AI applications on the BNB chain.
Yeah, and building on what JZ mentioned, right? So there are some of the most competitive technical foundations to build compelling DApps. But we're also cognizant, right, that as more and more interest and investment has come into this space, there's perhaps more choice than ever before in terms of the proliferation of chains that we keep hearing about. And I think that's great to try to drive interest and adoption. But ultimately, if developer are looking just even beyond very strong technical foundations and kind of an environment to build great dApps, you want to think about distribution, you want to think about scale. And the reality is when you look at the metrics, there's only a very small handful of home chains that can provide that scale. Beyond just the technical reliability and scalability, the scale in terms of users and liquidity, and even kind of ecosystem partnerships that helps a project go beyond just from 0 to 1, but even beyond that in terms of global reach. So, I think even today, and JZ, you can correct me on the stats, but I think, we have about 55% of all trading volume. In terms of liquidity, we consistently rank within the top 3, top 4, depending on kind of the month. And so ultimately, it's product market fit, right? We have a fantastic product and we have a fantastic market for users and developers. And so I think it's super critical. And just one important reason why I think people should consider it as a home chain. And there are some chains, I won't name them, but if you're a great developer and have a great product, it's very hard to get support from the chain for whatever reason. And I would venture to say that we have a full team that is very much dedicated to the mission and also dedicated to being accessible to helping incubate these protocols. Like we even have, and I think we'll probably get to this later, but we just set up a sort of physical environment in New York City, like we call it the Builder Bunker, right? Which is very much a community space that developers, investors, community members are joining and are there in real time for some of our programs, but also just to come meet the team and other builders and investors in the space, because it's all part of that mission of us being accessible, but also we have to be accessible if we want to help build these great products that can make crypto accessible in general. So I'll pause on that point.
Yeah, I just want to remind you the MVB program, Marwan. So I think the MVB is a very good opportunities for the builders to get the support from the team. Not only
exactly, yeah. I thought maybe Nab was going to jump to that afterwards, but yeah, that's the plug.
Yeah, well, let's get into it. What's the MVB program about?
I do think this is one of the, there is, and I could say this maybe hopefully next year as well, and in many years to come, but this is one of the best times to build a product on chain. The infrastructure is better than before. The institutional adoption is better than before, and the growing TradFi interest is there. And ultimately, for the best talent, we have a number of programs that are beneficial. But just at a high level, how do we think about growing these products beyond just the technical infra? It's how do we support on 3 pillars, right? it's financial support, it's marketing support, kind of commercial ecosystem reach, right? So marketing, how do we build brand equity? Financial, how do we ensure you have the financial sustainability to succeed? And then how do you plug into such a big market, like just as the BNB economy in general, to be successful? And the cornerstone program is that we have, and we've been running now in its 10th edition, is the MVB program. That is a joint program between Easy Labs, formerly known as Binance Labs, BNB Chain, and CoinMarketCap. So three titans, I would argue, of the industry coming together, in which really great teams from very, very early stage to past product market fit with some initial traction, who want that support, who can benefit that support from the entire team, the entire ecosystem, right? From those three pillars that I mentioned, who join for this multi-week program. And then there's a kind of YC style demo day at the end, where they meet from many ecosystem partners, including many other top tier investors, tier one investors, which give these teams, these products, a great chance at escape velocity, right? Because we're, people like JZ and myself are really in the weeds, working through problems with these teams, and then also helping position them for funding, some of which, of course, comes from Easy Labs, but also from other investors. So it really has produced a great legacy of leading protocols. I think one of the first few editions incubated the likes of PancakeSwap, but there have been many other top tier protocols that have gone through those programs since then.
Awesome. And what's the process for people to sign up for that? Is it just like a form and
yes,
a YC kind of
it
application?
Is on for any founder team interested. You can go to the bnbchain.org website, and there is a dedicated MVB program section there that you can find quite easily. And we run applications now on a running basis, but we have specific cohorts. So just cohort 10 was announced last Friday. And it is a very competitive program, not just a competitive offer. There is a very, very low acceptance rate. Sorry, I'm just thinking TradFi right now.
Yeah, it's all good.
Low acceptance rate, and but that's for a reason, right? Because the ROI on the program has been very competitive, very attractive, and so attracts a lot of the best talent in the industry. But it's definitely something I would very much encourage protocols to consider, even for the founding teams who are tuning in, who probably have never thought about working with BNB for whatever reason. And I understand all chains have maybe different perceptions or sometimes misconceptions, I would argue. It is always worth an application, always worth a conversation. We're always here to just have an exploratory discussion and see how we can be a real lever of expansion, right, for your product to be a real lasting success.
Amazing. Well said. And yeah, we will be sure to link that. Have a link to that in the description below. So if you are a founding team or somebody thinking about launching your next product, definitely give BNB Chain a consideration. You got nothing to lose. You never know what'll happen if you
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
it's,
you want the biggest market, and you want to really change the game, and this is one of the best environments to do it.
Beauty. There you go. Awesome. So there was a couple other things as JZ and yourself were describing a few minutes back around AI, and I want to also get into that bunker that you were mentioning, Marwan. So I guess just starting with the bunker itself, does it cost money for people to go and participate there?
Yep. It's a physical dedicated space for the community in New York City. So there are events, programs happening, and I think there'll be quite a few in August. So you just on our Twitter page, on our website, you can find a kind of easy way to explore those events, and there'll be loads of meetups for developers to meet with the fellow builders, to meet with team investors, so on and so forth. And I think it creates a lot of value, and it's part of this broader. It's the US for now, because I think we're seeing a lot of growing interest in BNB as an ecosystem out there, But I won't share more, but hopefully we can build on that success in the future.
Yeah, it sounds like an amazing opportunity. I mean, if it was in my neck of the woods, I'd definitely go check it out.
Quite a trip for you.
All the way from Mordor, right? Yes.
Exactly.
Awesome. And shifting gears a bit, just to AI in general. JZ, you mentioned that BNB Chain is positioning itself as a landing spot for some of these decentralized AI companies. I guess you guys have also recently launched an AI bot called the BNB Chain AI bot. I guess, could you talk a little bit more about the broader positioning of the chain for AI in general, and what types of use cases people can use the chain for?
Sure. So if you read our 2025 roadmap of BNB Chain, actually the AI first is our strategy. So we aim to enhance the capabilities of ecosystem through the variety of AI-powered initiatives, such as including the development of AI-powered copilot to assist the developers and the seamless integration of the AI into the DApps, and support from the data DAO, which means the decentralized autonomous organization for data, to solve the ownership problems for the data contributors to the AI developers, right? So at the heart of the BNB Chain, actually, our AI ambitions is still on the BNB greenfield, because it can be the pivotal to enabling the AI and data economy. So different from the traditional centralized data solutions or storage solutions, the greenfield empowers the users with the true ownership. For example, if you upload the data to the greenfield, a corresponding token can be minted on the BSC, and also you can manage the data and ownership of the data and permission of data through the smart contract. So which relies on a lot of the AI applications actually relies on the data and also the ownership of data. So a core use cases that we are looking for or already happening on the BNB Chain is that the data ownership and control. So the DApps can manage their data and also protect the data contributors and manage protect their ownership. And also we are working with some of the projects like to make the data programmable, which means if you want to build a data marketplace for AI consumers or AI data users, the marketplace can enable the purchase directly and the community manage the data for the AIs. So this is the very key functions, and we have already started the BNB Greenfield almost 2 years ago, right? So at that time, the AI is still in the very, very early stage. So compared with today, so I think that AI actually is not, we started from today. Actually, we started from years ago, right? And we want to build the solid foundations and the best product for the potential AI innovations on the BNB Chain.
And just to add to that, from a different angle for builders in the space, especially in AI, just a few points. I think one, and many other like thought leaders have talked about this, right? Like the likes of Balaji, talking about how as AI grows in momentum and adoption, and with a lot of concern about how it might affect the internet as we know it today, that only creates a greater need for cryptographic proofs or for essentially for something that can't be fooled, which is essentially on-chain metrics, kind of on-chain verification. So one, I do think there's a very important need. I think it's still quite early, and tied to that, if you are thinking about building something in AI, or if you already are, I think now is a great time, partially because I think it's still early within crypto. The crypto AI intersection is still very early, in my opinion. The level of competition is a lot lower compared to building an AI product in a very Web 2 native environment, which is, I think, is most of the capital and the talent is right now. But a lot of the kind of the biggest heavyweights, technically have been building at it in Web 2 for at least a decade or so. When you look at some of the biggest players, and I think some of the next big players would be building in Web 3 right now. And even a lot of the investors I speak to in the space, even some who are not in Web 3, who are very just AI native investors in Web 2, do have that view, right? That crypto will play an increasingly prominent role. So for teams that are considering building an AI product, I mean, there is a white space in crypto, and the team here, JZ and myself and many others, can really spend the time with you to help optimize what that product might look like.
Awesome. And yeah, I agree with you. I think the cross section between crypto and AI is still very young. I think it's only been, a couple of years since it's really taken off. I remember a few years back when we were hosting guests on this podcast, I would ask them, "Oh, what do you think the intersection of this space was going to be?" And it was just still very raw. There's things about storing model weights on decentralized storage and perhaps using AI for analysis. But now we've kind of seen it start to really take off in decentralized infrastructure networks, things like Morpheus, things like Lilypad. There's tons of different applications kind of going out here. And I guess JZ mentioned it, AI was or is the big theme of the 2025 roadmap of BNB Chain. Do you see that carrying forward to 2026? I know there's a lot of stablecoin chatter this year. Do you guys think that that's kind of going to intertwine with AI somehow, or do you think it'll be its own thing? Yeah.
Yep.
JZ, it's a good. Yeah, I'll chime in afterwards.
Okay, so definitely, I think so. Because just as we mentioned, the AI is still very early, and especially the intersections between AI and the Web3, right? So I think that giving the users control over their data to add the incentive mechanism for the data contributors and the data and in AI modelers and AI developers, making it transparent, right? I see a lot of discussions about the safety of the AI, right? The training, the data, there's the transparency. We want to make sure the AI actually will not, bring the disaster result for the human being, right? So by intersecting with the blockchain and AI to make this transparent, make the, add another layer of incentives to make sure the best data can be rewarded to the, the data creators or contributors can be rewarded, and also the training process can be tracked and monitored and make sure all the safety regulations and other stuff can be traced on the blockchain. That is the key point for the future. I mean, for the bright future of the AI development in the future.
And just to add to JZ's point, and maybe to your question now, so yeah, of course, absolutely still a priority, still very early, and I think this is something that will be a very, very long-term conviction and bet for not just ourselves, but for I'm sure many chains, many the industry at large. I think what I would add is we're already starting to see some kind of new consumer native applications. You've been hearing quite a bit about agentic payments, crypto being the rails for agentic commerce, and kind of maybe using those rails for payments or whatever it may be. And we've seen teams experiment in that space. It's something I'm personally very excited about. But maybe to your point around stable coins, right? So it was the question, will stable coins remain the hype or I think stable coins are in a different space. I think stablecoin liquidity has been very large for a long time, and I think we're just at an inflection point now in terms of interest because of growing institutional adoption, regulatory clarity, and IPOs and things like that, which I think have renewed interest. And people go, wait, hold on, there's this crypto stablecoin thing. Oh, it's really big, and actually, wow, there's all this liquidity on chain, which we've known, right? If you're building this space, has been here for a while, and of course, stablecoins will be a kind of part of the fabric of this industry, and that's very important. But I think there will be increasing quote unquote hype around more AI native applications, especially as they become clearer and the commercial models become even clearer and the need for it becomes evident. I don't think there is a consensus yet on the imperative for crypto and AI to merge and to create solutions. I think we're still a little bit early on that adoption curve.
Yeah, I agree with you. And there's a lot of compelling use cases around like automatic payments.
Yeah.
Like using an AI agent to basically spin up a wallet for you, using ZK proofs to combat all the bot spam that is on a lot of the social media platforms. So there's a lot of compelling use cases for it. And yeah, it's certainly a very exciting time to be alive and kind of witness all of this. So, unfortunately with that, we have reached our time. But JZ, Marwan, this was an awesome conversation. Thank you so much to the both of you for taking the time out of your day to come chat with us today.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, my pleasure. My pleasure.
And for everyone building the space, you can always reach out to us on X, and we'll share the links as well for you to explore more of the opportunities on BNB.
Beauty. Yeah, and we will have all those links for you in the description below. So definitely reach out to the crew at BNB Chain and consider using them for your next project or weekend hack even. And with that, just want to wish everybody a very happy Friday, happy weekend wherever you may be, and we will catch you back here next week for another great episode of DevNTell. Till then, have a good one, folks. See ya.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode of DevNTell, be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode. Till the next one, cheers.